Hello everyone, I'm Yash Kariwal and I'm here to present the paper titled News Exposure, Perceived Objectivity, Bias Indicators and Print Media, a study among media students. This paper has been co-authored by me and Dr. Meljo Thomas of Christ Deemed to be University. Introduction. As we all know, print media is the oldest form of media today with its history dating back to the 1600s. And given today's time of internet and social media, it's very pleasing to find that the Indian print media readership is actually growing every year. A lot of research was done into this and a lot of surveys have actually pointed out the fact that the print media in India is actually growing, which is a very contrasting feature to the global trend. So keeping this in mind, with all the additional influencing factors that have come upon print journalism, we thought it would be interesting to look at how the media students today actually frame objectivity or what they think about news objectivity. Because in today's world, objectivity in itself has taken up a lot of diverse definitions and functions. So keeping all this in mind, our research objectives were first, to understand the news media exposure of media students in India. We wanted to look at what type of news do these media students consume. Secondly, to understand the perception of media students about the constituting factors of news objectivity, we wanted to look into what the students thought made up news objectivity. And thirdly, we wanted to look into the constituting factors of news bias, what the media students thought constituted news bias. So these were our three research objectives. In our review of literature, we identified three broad themes. The first was contributing factors of objectivity, the second contributing factors of news bias, and the third was objectivity and its role in journalism. So in the first sub-theme, what we read a lot of literature regarding what constitutes objectivity, and two studies I would like to point out. First was what Kovac and Rosenstiel wrote in their book, The Elements of Journalism. What they say is that objectivity requires journalists to undertake a systematic approach of verifying information. So basically, objectivity constitutes the journalist actually gathering the information and then verifying it in a very systematic form and then actually presenting it in a certain way so that the objectivity is upheld. Rogers in his 2019 work states that the essence of objectivity was to have a very neutral way of reporting. The journalist should not put forth their own personal biases and their own personal opinions in this reportage. This can be done through portraying the various individuals or various parties involved in the news in a very neutral manner. The journalist should not put good character or bad character labels on individuals or on parties. That is the very essence of objectivity which Rogers actually identified. In contributing factors of news bias, Kenny and Simpson in the 1993 research, they actually took the theory of media ownership by Rees and Shoemaker, and they looked at the presidential elections and they took two newspapers and actually did a content analysis of how the ownership resulted in the type of reportage in the US presidential race of 1988. So they took two newspapers, the Washington Times, which is a privately owned newspaper, and the Washington Post, which is a publicly owned newspaper. So in the content analysis, they found that there was a huge gap in the way the news was reported. In the Washington Times, since it's a conservative newspaper, they were very pro-conservative. They leaned heavily towards George Bush Sr. in the campaign, and they had a very negative way of reporting the socialist perspectives or the socialist candidates. Whereas in the Washington Post, the news was framed in a very neutral and very objective manner. The Post did not lean towards any particular party or any particular candidate. Rather, it had a very neutral and very straightforward and very simple way of reporting on the two or more candidates which were involved in the 1988 presidential elections. So this study actually proved that media ownership does have a very strong influence on how news is reported and how bias is constructed. In our third sub-theme, I would like to talk about Skudson and Lichtenburn's works, wherein Skudson in 1996 said that American journalism was based on objectivity, and even though it is a very highly regarded factor in reporting today, objectivity is struggling because of the news sources of various journalists. So as we all know, journalists are required to gather news from different sources, and with each source comes the source's own individual bias and opinion. So it is very hard for the journalist to actually gather unfiltered information, and because of this, the reporter has to work through these biases while actually reporting. Lichtenberg in 1998 says that news bias automatically is created by politicians when they find that one particular newspaper is not functioning or is not supporting that particular politician's ideals. So if they see that the media is not favoring them, the candidates automatically term the media as biased. So this is how bias creeps in media, and this is what objectivity actually faces as a challenge in journalism today. Our methodology consisted of quantitative methods wherein we used the survey method and circulated a questionnaire online. We used the non-probability technique of convenience sampling. Because of the current pandemic situation, it was very difficult to actually collect samples, say based on stratification or based on purposive. So convenience sampling was the best, and we chose 111 respondents from 3 cities, Kolkata, New Delhi and Bangalore, and circulated the questionnaire online because of again the pandemic situation. Findings and analysis. The researchers had a total of 111 respondents, and we had a very broad range of demographic variables such as gender, area of living, language of news consumption and education in media. So out of our total respondents, 54 were male, 55 were female, and 2 preferred not to mention their gender in the questionnaire. 103 came from urban areas of living and 8 lived in rural areas. 100 of our respondents actually consumed the most news in English, whereas 11 consumed the most news in their mother tongue. 73 of our respondents were graduates or pursuing a graduate degree in media studies. 35 were postgraduates or pursuing a degree in postgrads, and 3 were actually pursuing higher studies like MPhil or a PhD. When we asked them about what kind of news they were exposed to, and we asked them about the most read newspapers, amongst them, the top 4 newspapers identified were the Hindu, Times of India, the Telegraph and Deccan Herald, wherein the Hindu saw almost a 50% readership and the others followed the Hindu. In the types of news consumed, the majority chose politics as one of the type of news that they had consumed along with others. 64% said that they consumed international affairs the most along with these others, and 48% chose crime as the main news that they consumed along with the other types. So the 3 types of the news that were chosen the most were crime, politics and international affairs. When we asked them about what constituted news objectivity in a newspaper, most of them chose being unbiased, being transparent and fair reporting. So these 3 factors are what they thought constitutes news objectivity the most. When we asked them that whether they believed that news could be objective, 64% of the total respondents believed that yes, news could be objective in nature. 21.6 were ambiguous about the idea of news being objective, and 13.5% said that they believed that news could never be objective. When asked about whether they trusted the newspapers that they read for objective news, 55% said that yes, they did trust their newspaper for objective news. 11.7% said they did not trust the newspaper that they read for objectivity, and 33% were again ambiguous and said that they trusted the newspaper sometimes. Similarly, when asked about whether they thought that news reported in newspapers are only facts and do not have any opinions, 58.6% agreed with this question that yes, they thought that news reported in newspapers are only facts and not comprising of opinions, and 20.7% said no, and 20.7% were ambiguous and they were not sure whether it was only facts or facts and opinions mixed. When asked about what factors led to news bias, a majority of the respondents said that political pressure, corporate influence and ownership were the 3 key factors which led to a news bias creeping into news. In conclusion, I would like to say that this study looked into several aspects revolving around objectivity, and with analyzing the results of the survey, we concluded that the students do have a very distinct idea of what news objectivity constitutes, as is pretty clear by the responses of the survey. So what theoreticians and media scholars think of objectivity, the responses given by the students were pretty similar. So that means they are in sync with what objectivity constitutes. The responses also give an indication about how the choice of newspapers have actually molded a trust in newspaper objectivity in the minds of the respondents. It is clear by our survey and by the responses that the majority of the respondents read the Hindu, TOI and Telegraph, and therefore they think of these newspapers as very objective, because a majority of the sample have stated that they trust the newspapers for objective news, and they also think that the way news is reported in these newspapers are devoid of any personal opinion or bias. Hence, it is very objective. So this further proves that the writing style of news in these newspapers also have a deep impact on how readers perceive objectivity. Limitations and scope of our study. So we could only collect samples from one college each from the three cities, namely Bangalore, Kolkata and New Delhi. So this research can be taken ahead and involve other Indian cities too. Again, our sample collection was also limited because of the pandemic situation. So we could collect only 111 responses. So a larger sample size can also be considered for future research. Also, other regional languages can also be brought under the scope of study, because as I mentioned previously, print media is growing, and it is growing because mainly of the regional language newspapers that are coming up. So regional languages could also be brought under the scope of this study. Thank you.